Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars and welcome to another classic film review. Today's classic film review is for the 1995 science fiction thriller 12 Monkeys, a film that is directed by Terry Gilliam and it stars Bruce Willis, Madeleine Stowe and Brad Pitt. Now you may or you may not be aware that recently on the channel I did my favourite top 10 Bruce Willis films. I thought it was about time that I celebrated Bruce Willis because I've been a bit hard on Bruce Willis these last couple of years. It's mainly his fault with some of the films that he's churned out. However, I wanted to look back and remember some of the great films that he's done over the years. And this is one of them. And I've recently picked this one up. I'll be showing this in a upcoming pickups video that I will be doing later this month. And rewatched it, and it's a few years since I've seen this film, to be perfectly honest. And what is this film about if you've never seen it? Well, this film is set in a kind of a post-apocalyptic future, I guess. In 1996 a disease was released that essentially wiped out 99% of the world's population. There's only a small amount of survivors and they now have to live underground because it's too toxic on the surface. However, they have they use a number of volunteers, Bruce Willis in particular, because he's got a good memory, he can remember things, and they use him to collect samples A from the surface and B to send back in time to try and find some clues about something called the Army of the 12 Monkeys, who they believe have got a direct link to this disease that is released in the year 1996. So they send him back in time. They think they're sending him to 1996, but they actually send him to 1990. Everybody thinks he's mad and he's quite violent, Bruce Willis, so he gets sent to a mental institution where he meets Brad Pitt's character Jeffrey, who might just be a little bit insane, and might also have a direct link to the Army of the 12 Monkeys. Bruce Willis also meets Madeleine Stowe's character, who works at this mental institute as a psychiatrist, and the film goes on from there, time travelling back and forth to the point where he thinks he might be able to directly affect the outcome of the Army of the 12 Monkeys. Right, it's quite a difficult film to explain, this one. If you've ever watched it, I think this is a film that is, in actual fact, is not for everybody. I do believe that, and certainly when I first saw this in the 90s, I wasn't that keen, if I'm perfectly honest, because it wasn't what I was expecting from Bruce Willis, these types of films. It's not action-packed. There's very little action to speak of in this film at all, to be perfectly honest. It's a little bit depressing. There's a weird layer of humour going through it that obviously, if you understand Terry Gilliam, you understand why that is the case. He's got a very distinct style, obviously, and it is a complete Terry Gilliam film, this, but it's definitely an acquired taste. But it is a film I've learned to enjoy and appreciate over the years for what it actually is. And it's a really, really interesting film and a fascinating film in many ways. I think Bruce Willis' performance in this is underrated. There are a couple of scenes in this, and again I go back to another film that I think his acting is outstanding, is Unbreakable. There's a couple of scenes in this where he really, really stands out in regard to his acting. There's a lovely scene where he's in the car with Madeleine Stowe. He's basically kidnapped her. He's never really heard music before, not properly, or certainly not for a long time, and the radio's on, and he tells her to put some music on, and she puts this song on. I forget the song, to be honest, but his reaction to this song is just wonderful, and you literally believe that it's the first time he's heard it, and he's just so swept up in it, and he gets really emotional, and that's the Bruce Willis that I remember. That's the Bruce Willis that I love. He can act. He can bloody well act, and it frustrates me that he refuses to do it anymore. He just turns up and reads his lines, I think, these days. However, at the time, it was actually Brad Pitt that got all the plaudits for this film. and when you watch it you'll understand why. I mean, Brad Pitt, he does stand out in this film as Jeffrey. He he gives an absolutely mad as a box of frogs performance as Jeffrey, who was clearly insane. Now apparently, I don't know how true it is, but apparently at the time Brad Pitt, he was a rising star, but just as this film released, you know, things like Seven had come out and what have you, so he was really a big star then. He was a bit nervous about playing his character apparently, and he didn't know how to do it, and he thought it was going to come across as just stupid. So Terry Gilliam actually took away his cigarettes. He says, right, you're not allowed to smoke. And that apparently did the trick. That's how he got them quirks for his character in this film. As I don't know how true it is, but that's what I've read, so there you go. But yeah, a great performance by Brad Pitt. The only real main issue I have with this film is this connection between Bruce Willis and Madeleine Stowe. There's supposed to be this chemistry between them, and I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it then, and I don't buy it now after rewatching it just a couple of days ago. So I just didn't buy that chemistry. Simple as that. I don't think Madeleine Stowe is bad in the film. I don't think she's bad in anything I've ever seen her do, to be honest. She's very, very good, and she's a great actress. I just didn't buy the chemistry between her and Bruce Willis. But yeah, it's a really interesting film. It plays with your head a little bit. It's a bit back and forth. It's a film that's almost hard to like because it's quite grim in many aspects, but it's superbly constructed. It looks fantastic, looks and feels fantastic, and the performances in it are all top notch, and it's a great story. So that's why I basically revisited it, and I do definitely feel it's a classic film. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I think it is really, really nicely done. Very good film, deserving to be in Bruce Willis's top 10 list that I did recently. And if you want to check that out, that top 10 list, it is in the channel and the top 10 playlists. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. If there's any other Bruce Willis films you would like me to review, I will certainly consider doing it, but there are already some on the channel. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the review. I'll see you back for more content on Screen Stars very soon.